The moment I stepped into that banquet hall, I knew exactly what kind of night it was going to be. The smiles were forced. The air smelled of expensive cologne, ambition, and lies. And then I saw her, Vanessa, laughing, with that same smug look she wore back in high school, like the world was her stage and the rest of us were just extras. She didn't see me at first, but when she did, she smirked, whispered something to her friends. They all turned, laughed, like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. My name is Nolan, and I was invisible in high school. The weird kid who wore the same hoodie too often. The one who ate lunch alone behind the gym. I wasn't bullied, not exactly, but I was forgotten, ignored, laughed at behind closed doors. Vanessa was the opposite. Homecoming queen, captain of the cheer squad. Everyone wanted to sit next to her, be her or date her. I was none of those things. But time is a funny thing. It had been 20 years since we graduated from Crestwood High. 20 years since I left that small Arizona town behind and built a life no one here even knew existed. Tech entrepreneur, data security specialist, private contracts for the Department of Defense. Nothing flashy on social media, but enough to know more than most people should. So when the reunion invite came, I almost didn't go, but something told me it was time. The event was held at a fancy rental venue just outside Scottsdale. Fairy lights strung across the ceiling, jazz music playing over speakers, an open bar that was already the highlight of the night. I showed up late. That wasn't an accident. I wanted them to be settled in, comfortable. I wanted Vanessa to feel safe in the castle she built on lies. I walked in wearing a navy suit, not flashy, just clean, confident. A few people looked my way, confused. Some tried to remember my name. Others didn't bother. But then Vanessa turned around, and her smile vanished for a split second before she composed herself and laughed. Wow. Nolan, is that you? You clean up nice. Never thought I'd see the hoodie kid in a suit. She was still good at those half compliments. I nodded. Life's full of surprises. As the night went on, people took the mic to share life updates. Promotions, marriages, travel stories. When Vanessa's turn came, she practically glowed. Still married to my amazing husband, Brad, she said, smiling toward the man sitting quietly in the corner. 2 kids, still working in public relations. Life's been good to me. The applause was polite. She gave a little bow and walked back, locking eyes with me before mouthing the words, "Your turn." I didn't hesitate. I stepped onto the small stage, took the mic, looked around. My story's not as exciting, I said calmly, but it's honest. People chuckled. I didn't. I've spent the last decade helping organizations track digital footprints, emails, metadata, patterns. You'd be amazed what you can uncover when you follow the trail. There were murmurs, a few laughs, but Vanessa's smile had vanished. Tonight, I want to talk about something real, about how people wear masks, even 20 years later, about betrayal hiding behind Instagram smiles. I turned slowly toward Vanessa, and about a woman in this room who mocked me in school and still mocks me today. The room went silent. Vanessa, do you remember a man named Logan Miller? Professor, Arizona State, Department of Communications. She froze. You met him at a conference last spring. I know this because the hotel reservation was under your maiden name. You used your old email address. And the security footage? Well, that's public domain, if you know where to look. There were gasps. Brad, her husband, stood up slowly, confused, staring at her like she was someone he'd never met. You lied to him, I continued, and to everyone here. You wore your marriage like a badge while sneaking around with a man twice your age. Vanessa stood. Her lips trembled. That's not true. It is, I replied. And I didn't come here to embarrass you. I came here because silence enables cruelty. And you've been cruel to people your whole life. I was just a hooded kid to you. A joke. But tonight, you're the punchline. I left the mic on the podium and walked off the stage. No applause, just silence. Heavy, sharp. As I passed Brad, he didn't look at me. He didn't look at her either. He just sat back down, like the weight of everything had finally caught up to him. Outside, the air was cool, quiet. I slipped into my car and drove away without saying goodbye, because some closures don't need applause. Sometimes truth is enough, and sometimes being invisible is a perfect camouflage.